I own 4 rental apartments and I am a mom, an immigrant, and I didn't start rich. In fact, the second property, the last 2 apartments, they were bought using the BRRRR method. Most people don't understand how this method works. In fact, it can be a little complicated, but I did it, so you can too. And in this video, I will try to explain to you what it worked for me, what I would do differently, and what I did in order to acquire these properties if you are interested in learning how to invest in real estate. Hello everyone, my name is Kate. Thank you for being here, and please subscribe to my channel. It's gonna help me a lot to keep creating content. And well, let's start defining what is the BRRRR method. BRRRR, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. I have my computer here, so I'm looking at my notes. The BRRRR method, most people don't know or don't understand what it means. Well, actually, it's like when you have a property already, or you bought a property using a bank, right? And this property is gonna appreciate over time. So it's gonna increase in value. That's what happened to us. When we bought our first rental property, it was a house with 2 apartments. It was a duplex. So we bought it at $125,000. That's how we found the price on Zillow. But after negotiations, they left the number to 115, but then we found the basement was very wet. So again, we made some negotiations, and then they decided to give us the house at $107,000. So that's what we pay in order to get our first property. We gave 30% of down payment. For that, we had to work very hard. My husband worked, I worked, we saved, plus a loan that we had to borrow. That's how we got the money to pay the down payment for the first property. The property had a lot of things to renovate. It wasn't in good condition. So the first floor, the first apartment, it had 2 bedrooms and it didn't look good at all. The walls were dirty, the windows were so old. We had a lot of things to renovate in order for us to rent the first unit or the first apartment on the first floor. We had to renovate it, we had to clean it, and we did everything on our own, especially my husband because he is very handy. For the second floor, the second apartment, we couldn't renovate it on time as soon as we got the property because we inherited a tenant. The owner told us, hey, you know, that tenant from the second floor, they want to keep working with you guys, they want to keep renting the apartment. And for us, it was great because that meant that we were gonna have profit right away. When this tenant left from the second floor, then we started the renovations, but we took our time. I think after some months, then we decided to start working on the renovations, and we changed everything. We replaced the bathroom, everything. We replaced the floor, we painted the walls, and we did a bunch of renovations. My husband, he's very handy, and he did most of everything except for that drywall in the bathroom. He spent many weeks in order to finish this, and the result was great. As you can see here in the pictures, beautiful. After we renovated both floors, both apartments, then we got our tenants, and we decided, because we got this house by the end of October in 2022, sorry, because I was very pregnant. As you can see maybe in these pictures here, I was very pregnant with my daughter. So we bought this at the end of the year of 2022. Then we finished everything by 2024, the renovations of the second floor, and in 2025, well, we started a new year with new tenants, and we decided to, okay, it's time to get another property. Real estate is not for the ones that are looking for money easily or quick money. This is, you are building generational wealth, long-term wealth. So you gotta be patient. And okay, this time we had so many expenses. We had so many things that were going on in our lives. I had my second child, and I traveled. My mom came from Peru, so many things, okay? I don't wanna make this video too messy, but once we had the first duplex rented, we had tenants, we were talking a lot about, okay, it's time to get another property, to look for another duplex. So that's what we did, but you also need to pay 30% of down payment because we have an LLC for investing in real estate. We are doing this as investors. We are not doing what other people do. I think they live in the house, then they move, they buy another property and they live in the house and then they move. And no, we are not doing that, okay? So what we did was, okay, we don't have the money to pay. Well, actually, we were saving to buy another property, but we thought, what if our property, the first duplex, increased in value? Let's refinance the house. And what it means is that, okay, when you buy a property, if you make renovations and with time, you know that property is going to increase in value, it's going to appreciate. And that's what happened in our case. So the house appreciated, increased in value. And remember I told you that we got the duplex for $107,000. Well, now after sending an appraisal, sending people that evaluate the house, the bank, when we talked to the bank, hey, we want to refinance this house, they said, okay, let me send the appraisal. So they send this person, and after the evaluation, it was very quickly, probably 10 minutes only, that this person saw the house. Both apartments, they were all in perfect condition. I won't say perfect, but you know what I mean. It was renovated, painted, we changed many things. But the second floor was entirely done completely. We changed bathrooms, we painted the walls, we changed the floor completely. We did a lot of work, and I think our efforts paid off, because we got that duplex for 107, and when we saw the new price of the house, it was $200,000. So it increased in value in $100,000. It was amazing. So that means that we were gonna have the money to pay the down payment for the second property without using money from our pockets, just because this first duplex increased in value, thanks to the renovations and thanks that these properties always appreciates. Isn't that crazy? This is how this BRRRR method works. You buy, you rehab, you renovate, you rent it. We rented to tenants. Of course, we gotta show papers to the bank that these two apartments were rented, that we really are making profit, and also refinance. That's what we did, and repeat. Now we are gonna repeat this same procedure, this same process for the next property. And that's how you become a real estate investor. It is crazy, really crazy. So that's the key. If you are planning to start investing in real estate, first, it's gonna be a little bit hard because you gotta have your own money, or not necessarily. You can borrow from people. I think part of our success for this first experience using the BRRRR method is that we really found a good deal. So this house had a good foundation. Even though the basement was a little wet, but then we fixed it. It had a good foundation. And it's important that when you start looking for houses, I would say that our experience was kind of smooth compared to other people probably, but I would say that we really read a lot of books. We watched so many videos about real estate, how to start, because we never had experience doing this. We don't have people that train us doing this. So we really did it empirically and with trial and error, and everything so far is going well. And I think if you start really educate yourself about how to start investing in real estate, and without listening to other people, I think you're gonna have good results. And when I say without listening to people, well, let me rephrase, without listening to the people that don't know what they are talking about. Because I also heard stories of other immigrants that they were lied, that they were scammed, or that they really had bad experiences with real estate, and we don't want that. For that, you need to educate yourself. So we started looking for houses when we decided to invest in this world, and we did it the classical way, or the traditional way. Okay, go to Zillow. I downloaded the app, started looking for houses, and I saw that, okay, this is the house, because we had a budget. Remember, we gotta pay the 30% of the house. And okay, our budget was $30K, right? $30,000 that we needed to pay for the down payment. We couldn't aspire for a better house or to have a bigger budget because we didn't have money. So we were looking for houses that were between, 100 and 150 max, no more than that. So when I found that house, I told my husband, let's go and see that house. I think maybe, I don't know, who knows. So we visited like 3-4 houses, and we decided to go with the house that I saw on Zillow, and thank God everything was smoothly. There are things here and there, but the experience has been positive, and I'm very happy because it was we started completely beginners, and look what we did now. We didn't use any money of our own in order to buy a second duplex, in order to buy 2 more apartments. We have 4 apartments now. Isn't that crazy? And on this part of Ohio, for the ones, hey, your house was really, really cheap. Yes, because I live in the Northeast Ohio. And on this area, you can really find good houses. It's kind of hard finding these duplex because now most of the houses are just 1 unit. I think what we did right was to find houses that were in that budget range, 100 to 150 max, and also that has a good foundation. Because if you buy a house that is very cheap, but the foundation is really bad, it's not going to be good, because then you will need probably to turn down that house in order to build a new one, and probably it's going to be even way more expensive. And also we have been learning during this time that if you are looking to make money, you also need to know what you can afford and until which point you are gonna renovate the house. Because if you renovate the house with the most expensive materials, then probably your investment is not gonna give you return because you're spending way too much for the return that you're gonna get. So you also need to think about that. Of course, you need to renovate your house. You need to provide a house that's gonna be good, where your tenants are gonna feel like they are home, where everything is working, that it's safe, but you need to think also about your budget and try to do everything on your own. And if you are able to do the renovations and finding good deals and then finding good tenants, I think you're gonna have a positive experience with real estate. Now, let's talk about the tenants. If you want to have good tenants, you got to do a very good screening. With that, I mean, you need to know what they work on, of course, their real names, how much they make, if they have good jobs, stable jobs, because you don't want to give your property to people that don't have, a job, and then how are they going to pay the rent? We want this experience of becoming landlords or real estate investors to be as smooth as possible. So far our experience has been good. And this has been a very quick video of my experience trying to explain how we suddenly became owners of 4 apartments using the BRRRR method. So I try to explain to you in simple terms how the BRRRR method works. And in another video, I'm going to explain all the paperwork, everything that you need to keep in mind, because this is going to be a series of videos, and be patient with me because I'm trying my best to communicate this in a clear way. And I hope this video was useful, and if so, please subscribe to my channel, share it with others, and you can also follow me on my Instagram in Spanish and also in English. And please, I would like to know where are you from, in which city you live. I would like to know your stories, your excitement about having or starting investing in real estate, because it's not that hard. It can be a little complicated at the beginning because you need to have, some money, but I told you that you can get it from family members, from private lenders, but you can start. And if you educate yourself, I think you're going to be able to become a successful real estate investor. Please educate yourself, read books. These are the books that we read. Thank you so much for your time, and subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.